Greetings, everybody. I want to come at you with this short video to kind of bring you up to speed that even though they say that Sukkot is in October 8th, I don't think that really makes too much of a difference. Me personally, I think according to the correct lunar solar calendar, I think that like next year's feasts are going to be roughly about a month off, but besides that, we do have the second blood moon coming in about a month and 8 days from now. If we, and a while back when I did this video, I seen something interesting that between these blood moons, that there are 3 6-month intervals. Okay, and within these 6 months, I kind of made the guess, or I don't want to call it a prediction, but because of the aspect that the stars in the heavens and stuff are given to us as signs and warnings, and I'm not saying that these blood moons are any fulfillment of biblical prophecy of the moon turning to blood, like John Hagee or Mark Bliss is saying. But what I'm saying is, just like in 70 AD, when they had these miraculous signs happen, to warn the people of God to flee Jerusalem, I kind of think that there is something going on here in that regard. And if any of you have been paying attention, the first 6 months between the first and second blood moon has been very, very interesting. Especially in the term of religion. Okay? More so the charismatic religion, the charismatic Christianity, and the charismatic like Kenneth Copeland and these types of things. We've seen this speech from the now supposedly deceased Tony Palmer, bring in this message of unity, that we are all Catholic again, and we've seen this unity thing being really pushed down our throats in the religious sphere within these 6 months, which I thought was very, very unique. I mean, you can go and search on my channel, you can go and search all throughout YouTube where people were reporting on this exclusively in detail, even up until the time of Tony Palmer's death. And what's interesting is there was a report that came out not too long ago where Pope Francis basically said, I basically got about 2 years left to live, and he might consider resigning in the near future. So again, we see that, in the whole aspect of Israel and the Pope visiting Jerusalem and Israel and these types of things, and then calling in this joint unity of prayer between Islam, Judaism, and Catholicism within the 6 months. A lot of interesting things was happening in the first 6 months. The next 6-month interval takes place starting on October 8th, and it runs through April 4th. And in between the second 6-month interval, we have a total solar eclipse on the first of the biblical year, Nisan 1, Adar 29 and Nisan 1. Okay. I'm going to make the guess that we are going to see a lot of economic woes. I think there's going to be a real strong emphasis of economy and financial systems. Like, for example, you can kind of see hints of it right here, where Wall Street now is admitting that a cyber attack could crash our banking system at any time. For example, this week the mainstream news is reporting on an attack on our major banks that was so massive that the FBI and the Secret Service have decided to get involved. The following is how Forbes described what is going on. The FBI and the Secret Service are investigating a huge wave of cyber attacks on Wall Street banks, reportedly including JP Morgan Chase, that took place in recent weeks. The attacks may have involved the theft of multiple gigabytes of sensitive data, according to reports. Joshua Campbell, supervisory special agent at the FBI, tells Forbes, "We are working with the United States Secret Service to determine the scope of recent of recently reported cyber attacks against several American financial institutions. So I think the emphasis is really going to be stemmed within, number one, our educational systems with Common Core, jobs, the jobs slowing down at a fast rate. I myself am experiencing that right now as we speak. And I really think you're going to see something really extravagant happen, possibly, not for sure, I'm not saying this for sure, between now and 6 months from now on April the 4th. Here's another, let's see here. Okay. Another potential threat that banking executives lost sleep over is the threat of electromagnetic pulse weapons. The technology of these weapons has advanced so much that they can fit inside a briefcase now. Just consider the following excerpt from an article that was posted on an engineering website entitled Electromagnetic Warfare is Here. Quote, the problem is growing because the technology available to attackers has improved even as the technology being attacked has become more vulnerable. Our infrastructure increasingly depends on closely integrated, high-speed electronic systems operating at low internal voltages. That means they can be laid low by short, sharp pulses, high in voltage but low in energy, output that can now be generated by a machine the size of a suitcase, batteries included. Electromagnetic attacks are not only possible, they are happening. One may be underway as you read this. Even so, you would probably never hear of it. These stories are typically hushed up for the sake of security or the victim's reputation. And the same article described how an attack might possibly happen. An attack might be staged as follows. A larger electromagnetic weapon could be hidden in a small van with the side panels made of fiberglass, which is transparent to EM radiation. If the van is parked about 5 to 10 meters away from the target, the EM fields propagating to the wall of the building can be very high, if as is usually the case. The walls are mere masonry. Without metal shielding, the field will attenuate only slightly. You can tell just how well shielding a building is by a simple test. If your cell phone works well when you're inside, then you are probably wide open to attack. And it goes on and on. Every minute of every hour of every day, a major financial institution is under attack. So, I really strongly believe that the second 6 month interval is going to be a continuation of the first 6 month interval of bringing in all these world religions together. And then the second interval is going to start honing in on financial and economical crises. And what's interesting is this starts happening within the fall. And usually the fall seasons is usually when, a lot of economic woes usually reach its peak, is in the fall and winter months. So that's very interesting to take note. And usually, if you follow the trends right, usually in the midst of every economic downturn, war follows. And we have the rumors of wars going on right now. So maybe possibly the final 6 month interval could really deal with the aspect of war, which would be from March 20th of 2015 to September of 2015. So it's really something to pay attention here, that we got from October 8th to 2014. Okay. For my guess is it's a continuation of the uniting of the religions and these types of things that's going to escalate. Now you're going to start seeing economic woes, and then usually after that you'll have war, disasters, and these types of things. And what follows after this tetrad is done, I don't know. But I do think that starting from September 8th, carrying on through April 4th, 2015, you're going to see probably, more than likely, Not going to say for sure. Something to deal with economic collapses or downturns, financial crises. You know, you probably see the phrase debt ceilings pop up and over again, government shutdowns, you know, these types of things. And then we have the third 6-month interval starting right here on September 13th. So, I mean, who knows? But, you know, again, I have not put this to bed. I still watch this very carefully, even though I'm really busy on a series I'm working with right now. So, I figured I'd come at you with this little tiny video to kind of explain what I see possibly happening at the close of this year, and in between October 8th and April 4th. 6-month interval number 2. So, and also by March 20th, you're going to start seeing I have a feeling by March 20th, you might start to see the escalation of war rise, because that will also, in the midst of the second 6-month interval, would start the third 6-month interval, which would culminate in September 13th on 2015, and that will be a partial solar eclipse right there. So, again, I can't say that all what I said here is a for sure thing, but it's something to definitely look out for, and always keep looking up. Okay, so thank you for listening. Truth be told, truth be known. Stay safe. God bless. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.